Hey everybody, this is Claire, and this is Small Joyful Things. As always, I go to thrift stores or estate sales, or sometimes I buy things from Craigslist, and I look for things that I find personally interesting, or that I think you guys might find interesting. Then I bring them home, try and find out as much as I can about them, and then tell you guys about them. So here's what I got today. Out of the way. Okay, so I don't know if you've ever actually seen one of these before. This is essentially a decor object. And I don't know if you can actually hear this on the camera as well. If I shake it, got something making noise in it. Yeah, hopefully you can actually hear that. It's a very faint little sound of something rattling in there. And I've seen these before because I remember seeing a video by Curiosity Inc. If you guys actually follow that, Curiosity Inc. is the name of an antique shop in Edmonton, in Alberta, and the guy that runs it, Alex, is he's fairly well known on YouTube. He's done a bunch of like house clear outs, and he puts up really interesting videos about basically the stuff that he finds as an antiques dealer, and then goes out and, you know, you get to see the entire process of like essentially all the stuff that he takes out of a house, and then, you know, he brings it over to the auction, and the amount of work involved in it as well. Like, I'm not gonna lie, if I could choose any job other than what I've got right now, I would probably want to do that. I find the entire process to be like, there's something incredibly compelling about it to me. But anyway, one of the videos or whatever is one of the, probably the series he's most well known for, was when he did a clear out of the potter's house, and he essentially bought the house of a potter in Alberta. She was very well known for primitive pottery, called Mary Borgstrom. And one of the things that she did, or one of the pieces that he found in the house, was these kind of rattlers. And essentially it's just like a little round object like this, and they have a little, essentially a little thing in them, like a little kind of a, you know, like a rattler, usually a little lump of clay, and it just signifies that, look, it's hollow. It's not just like a lump of clay. And the ones that she did were very interesting. They're like perfectly spherical, like black balls, like essentially just like primitively fired. She fired stuff in a fire pit in her back garden. It's incredible. Like, the house itself is like it should be like a treasure. But anyway, this one is kind of seems a bit similar because it's got that little hole, and I know from essentially watching that video that the reason that they have this little hole is so that the thing has a place for the pressure to escape and it doesn't explode in the kiln itself. But in this case, there's something rattling in there, just so you know that yes, it is actually hollow. So that's how I know about that, and that's why I picked this up, and I was like, oh, this is lovely, and it has a wonderful feel to it. And then I shook it, and I was like, oh, hey, it's got a rattly thing in it. And yeah, now you can see as well on the surface is that it's very, very crazed. Personally, I don't mind that. I kind of like it as is. When I picked this up, I basically held it like this and just started essentially touching it and kind of trying to puzzle it, like how I felt about it. I decided that I liked it a lot. There is something that I find incredibly pleasant about round objects that kind of sit nicely in my hand. I'm kind of drawn to them, and the fact that they're easy to hold. They're like easy to hold, easy to turn over your hands, easy to hold with both hands. So yeah, so it's just something I find interesting. I like it a lot. Now in this case, we actually have a signature, and this has a story to go with as well. But first of all, we're going to measure it up. It is, eyeballing here, it's about 3/4 of an inch across, and it's quite round. And it is about 2.5 inches high. I bought it in a thrift store for $3 because I just liked it. I liked it so much. I picked it up, felt it, and said, yep, $3. I'm gonna have it. It feels too nice to get rid of. And I can even see like the faint lines here where it was turned on a wheel by the potter in question. And you can see like the little lines there. That's basically when it came off, and that little ridge there where the glaze dripped down. Like, there's texture wise and the visual thing, and being able to turn it and feel it, like, I can't describe this. It sparks a lot of joy, and I can kick the camera, and that also sparks joy. Anyway, so we have a signature, which is wonderful for our purposes. Obviously we want to know who actually made it, and it says Kingsmill. And now the nice thing about that is that we can immediately identify as being a local potter. That is Bob Kingsmill, who is a potter from Granville Island here in Vancouver. And not only that, but I had the opportunity to actually go down to Granville Island recently, and I went into his studio. There is if you actually take a look online, you can see Kingsmill studio is there on Granville Island, and you can just walk in, and they have the shop there where they actually sell stuff, and they have the actual studio there in the back as well. And so what is there? Actually got a chance to talk to one of the other potters. Now, Kingsmill Pottery Studio itself is actually a collective. There are a few potters operating out of the space. Bob Kingsmill is the one that's been around for the longest, which is why he's basically, there you go. It's called the Kingsmill Studio because he founded it in the 70s. And here's the man himself. And you can see that he's quite old now. He's been working for quite a long time. Apparently he's about 80 now, and he's been working all of this time since then. He isn't in the shop every day. I was actually talking to one of the other potters that was there. I'm not sure which one. I'm really sorry that I didn't actually, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry I didn't get your name, or else I would have mentioned it. I think you're one of the other potters, and I'm going to mention you guys as well. Don't worry there. So this is Bob's work, and it is phenomenal. This, by the way, is absolutely beautiful. What he's most well known for are the masks, and I'm going to get some examples here. I think the one up here is probably a good one. These amazing clay masks. They're quite big in person. I got to see a couple of them, and the ones that obviously I can't really demonstrate because the view isn't big enough here, but the ones that I actually saw in the shop that were there on display and actually were available for sale, they were ranged from about, say, 1.5 feet to like 3 feet or something in size. They were quite big, or a range of kind of shapes. I think the smallest one I saw was maybe about, I'm going to say about like the width of my hands there, which means nothing on the video, but I can assure you it's about 12 inches. So yeah, like the masks and everything are just amazing. So the potter that I was talking to, we had a little conversation about, well, essentially Bob Kingsman, and I explained what I do. I just said, look, I found this little object. It looks a little bit like this, and I described it, and it's got a leaf pattern, and it's got the signature of Kingsman on the base, and I'm trying to establish who made it for sure. And it was great, and I got a chance to actually take a look at some of Bob's stuff, like right there in his own studio, and then I, kind of handle it. And it turns out that actually this is older, because his signature he's changed his signature since this was made. The most recent stuff that was there had a K with 2 dots. But I did find one teapot that was a bit older and had the same kind of crazing as this, and that had the same signature. So this is definitely an older piece. Very nice, I thought. But anyway, the whole thing about the masks is, I think, is probably the most interesting. I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for this now. This, I think, is possibly something that I personally prefer more, but his masks are so visually interesting that I think that if anyone's actually going to, if anyone wants to actually like buy art pottery, this is the kind of thing that they'd want. It's designed to be hung up on the wall. Apparently these have been described as like, he calls them his ancestors looking down at him from the wall. I think that's just like amazing. I've been trying to think about what this kind of reminds me of, and I think it definitely makes me think of basically the Green Man or the some of the Celtic kind of Celtic gods. But that could just essentially just be because I'm Irish. Make it that what you will. Now, having said all of that, is there actually any for sale? And it turns out that there is. Almost nothing on eBay, by the way. This is all from the same seller here on Etsy. You can see the prices are fairly substantial, and I can confirm this is definitely what it would be worth. This is actually a local seller, by the way. Somebody who's obviously found the pottery as well, probably the same way that I did. I can't find recent sold comparables, unfortunately. Considering that I bought this for $3, I found another shaker that is very similar, and that was selling for, I think, $36. So I'm probably going to put this up on Etsy with maybe $15 and $20. This one is a little bit smaller, older, and in a slightly different design. But to be honest, I find this so pleasant that I'm probably going to keep it for a while. I know I shouldn't. I know I should be sticking to the art class, but honestly, when something sparks joy, I generally don't ignore that. Now, one final thing to do. Here is the Kingsman Studio Pottery Shop. And I want to give a big shout out to all the artists there, because I actually am familiar with some of their work, especially Poplar Studio. These did like again, it's a collective. There are a couple of potters who are all working out of the same space. They are incredibly talented people. I've been in their shop actually a few times prior to this. I just didn't make the connection between Kingsmill, the name Kingsmill, and that particular shop. So this is the Poplar Studio, and I have actually seen these bowls before. I know I have. I'm definitely going to pick them up from now because the design is so distinctive. I wasn't sure at the time. I think at this point I now know for sure that that's definitely them. That's definitely them. I will definitely pick them up if I've seen them in a thrift store. I know I've seen them at least once. But the one I want to point out for this is essentially these. The rocket ship jars. I can't get over that. Oh my, it's a sugar. It's a little sugar bowl or little jar with, and it looks like a rocket ship. Oh my god, I love it. I love it. The design is just amazing. So here's some of Bob's work. Little sample of it there for you. This is Charmian Nemo. She's a self-taught potter. She's been working for quite a long time. I particularly love that she has some incredible impressed designs, especially this one, if it'll load up for me. This is the Patchwork Quilt Jug. I saw a few like this in the shop. I just thought they were just beautiful, beautiful objects. They're so visually interesting. Get rid of that now. And then, come on, there we go. And then Vinarora. And this is very much kind of like, it kind of makes me think of like the 18th century. It's kind of something to do with the brown glaze, I think. Get a little bit, can I get this to load more? Come on, yeah. Yeah, there we go. That, if I can get this to come on. There we go. Come on, iPad. Yeah. I cannot believe that's only $38. That glaze is, that's something. I love it. And again, it's round. It's like round blue and interesting to look at. I'm pretty sure that holding this would just like, would make me very happy. But yeah, so I think that's everybody. Okay, good. So yeah, so here we go. I was actually trying to think like exactly what would this be, apart from something that, you know, rattles when you shake it. Like what would you use it for? And to be honest, I'm pretty sure that it's going to be, you know, basically a paperweight or decor, you know, decoration, something to look nice. I personally think it's nice enough just to be able to pick it up and feel it and kind of play with it and just kind of shake it. Yeah, I like it. So here we go. That is my small joyful thing for today. I really hope you like it as well, because I know I definitely do in this case. Thanks very much for watching. Bye-bye.